Can I talk about the actual thing? This story. Did you guys already talk about it? Because
no, we were getting into it.
I have to leave in like 8 minutes. Yeah. But this is my thing. So I watched the 1090 Jake video where he basically says here, people have been saying that Larry Hoover told back in the 60s. He actually does the work, goes, finds an article, basically saying that he told on some guy back in the 60s after he got shot or whatever. And so then, you know, I think, wow, that's pretty open and shut that, you know, if you consider somebody a snitch just because they talked to the cops about who shot him 50, 60 years ago, I guess that qualifies him. Then scrolling through my feed, see King Yella. King Yella got a new video, driving in the car, yelling into the camera, mad as hell. And so I actually watch it, and it's King Yella so mad at 1090 Jake, and it seemed like the only reason that he had to be mad at 1090 was just the fact that 1090 looked up a newspaper article and then made a video reading the newspaper article. Like, I couldn't identify any logical reason for King Yella to be mad at him aside from the fact that he got clowned a little bit in the video because King Yella was one of these people that was doing a little dance and saying, Larry free, Larry free. And then he figures out that he's actually not getting out yet because he still has a 200-year state sentence. Either way, I just don't get it. Like, how mad could you really be at 1090 for reading an article? Like how offended could you be by that? Even if it's about somebody that you really love and worship, apparently, because I know that if 1090 found an article about Wack that was in the LA Times that said that Wack did some up shit back in the day, the last thing I would be thinking is like, how dare you say something bad about Wack? And I actually know Wack. Yella's just pretending to know Larry Hoover.
Nah, but like, he's their god, right? It's kind of like a Muslim being upset about you speaking about like Muhammad, right? So like, I feel like, again, it's still retarded, but like, I feel like that's like their logic, right? He's like their god. He's like the founder of whatever, you know, like the gangster.
It's just like, you know, yeah, I mean, that's your God. Like, you by taking part in a religion, you're basically like accepting the idea that there is going to be people who have supernatural, superhuman abilities or existences or whatever. Larry Hoover is just a guy. And granted, like, a lot of people, them, Kanye and Drake did a whole concert for him. All these GDs got some kind of reverence for him. But King Yella don't know him. King Yella has absolutely no idea if he told or not. And based on that article, it would appear that he definitely did tell. Now, if you have an issue with the reporting or whatever, then that's one thing. But to make an entire video yelling in your car just because someone read an article, I mean, if you feel like you can debunk the article, sure, you can because it was 60 years ago. But, you know, if you feel like there's some way around it, sure. Maybe standards were different for snitching back then, I'm sure. That being said, I think telling the cops who shot you probably always
would be snitching, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, no, right? Because we've seen like similar examples, and the first thing like they've always said was, "Yo, it's not black and white," meaning this, right? Because I feel like the new excuse now for snitching is the police be lying. So if like there's no interrogation footage or me writing a sworn statement or me coming to court, then it's the police word versus my word. I feel like that's the new excuse now.
That's the best thing that Larry Hoover could probably hang his hat on here is to just say like, no, it wasn't reported on correctly, because now you could probably corroborate with body cam footage and you know, surveillance cameras or whatever. But the 10 or the King Yella video of him yelling in the car was just like one of the funniest things I've seen in a while, because it's like you're not even pretending to make sense. You're not even acting as if you have like a valid argument. You're just being emotional into the camera and saying you are white and you apparently hate black people and you aren't willing to just let black people exist or whatever. And then I'm hearing like, oh, 1090 Jake's under fire. Like, give me a reason why 1090 Jake is under fire.
Well, one is this, like, people, again, man, when dealing with street dudes, I feel like rationality isn't really like a thing, right? They're irrational, they're emotional. You know, these dudes are unhinged, right, and mentally ill, which is, again, it takes some form of a mental illness to say, yo, I'm about to join a gang and throw my entire life away, right? But if 1090 Jake is good enough to join a gang, he's good enough to be accepted with the Bloods, then he's not good enough to speak on y'all. That's what I don't understand, right? Because to me, it's like, yo, you know, he fully embraced the gang lifestyle. He went to jail for it. He repped the, you know, like the Bloods in jail. He came out, he's a big Blood, so, you know.
I think he dropped his flag. I don't know if he dropped his flag, but
oh, well, okay.
I seen a clip on Bootleg Kev where he said he ain't really just repping the Blood that as much. He said he took it all out of his bio, but I don't know if that's him dropping his flag.
It said in his bio before, like, I'm a Blood.
something like that. But in the
Did Wack kick him out?
in the Bootleg Kev interview, he definitely mentioned how he ain't really just pushing the bloodline on the internet though. But all right, so the Larry Hoover situation happened. 1090 Jake dropped the article, and then Wack 100 ended up on the phone with what's the guy named James Hightower?
Highsmith.
Highsmith. All right, so James Highsmith is the guy that Larry Hoover, one of the guys that Larry Hoover shot at back in the day, and he actually said that Larry Hoover didn't snitch on him. Now everyone was like, "Oh damn!" So 1090 Jake, you making articles and calling this nigga a snitch, but then the dude who shot at him is saying that he never snitched on me. So then 1090 Jake hopped in the comments of a few blogs, and he said that the dude James Hightower or Highsmith is actually a snitch too. So everyone's like trying to, I don't know, it's a whole bunch going on right now. They're trying to say, is this dude credible? Is he just trying to say that because there's supposedly paperwork on him that I think 1090 Jake and Wack, or they're gonna
yeah, but
because Wack had a phone call with the guy and did a whole interview.
Of course,
and 1090 Jake did his side saying that the dude's a snitch.
Not like and like also too though, like why people, I guess, like the biggest critique that I've been seeing with this like 1090 Jake stuff is it felt like this was like a personal project for him, right? Because even like with the videos in the beginning, GD's through the door yelling, right? Because you know he has a few problems with I think one GD, King Yella, or maybe like multiple.
I mean, yeah, because King Yella hates 1090 because 1090 exposed that basically King Yella had a case from with a 15-year-old girl when he was 19, I think.
Yeah.
And so King Yella's always going to hate 1090 because 1090 exposed that, even though I think that had already been exposed, but he exposed it to a way bigger audience. So it's like King Yella makes a whole video, and the entirety of the video is just him supporting the person that he likes, who he doesn't even know, Larry Hoover, because he's a GD, so I guess he has to show loyalty to Larry Hoover, even though it's in black and white that Larry Hoover told back in the day in the newspaper. But then he hates 1090 Jake, and he's mad at 1090 Jake, even though it's transparent what his reasoning for not liking 1090 is because 1090 exposed him. And there's absolutely no indication to suggest that 1090 is lying or being dishonest or anything. And that is why King Yella opinion is not to be taken seriously.
He's not dishonest, but people is looking at like, for example, at the eagerness, like being like super ecstatic and overzealous at like revealing disinformation, because they feel like, for example, if Larry Hoover was not a GD and it was just like this random news article from 1968, would 1090 Jake have made a video on it? I doubt it.
Does anyone really think that 1090 like is anti-GD? No, he's just reporting on what's going on. He's anti-snitch.
No, that's a narrative.
Anti-GD? If anything, he would be anti-Crip. He's a blood. I don't know him beefing with any
No,
GD
if you watch the video, like with like the GDs crying and like it felt like satirical. You feel me?
The fact that King Yella was dancing, Larry free, Larry coming home. That was like one of the funniest things I ever seen, even outside of whatever my thoughts on King Yella are. So like, I don't know, man. Like to me, I'm just watching that video like, bro, King Yella couldn't have made it more transparent of why nobody has any reason to watch any of your content ever, because you obviously are not concerned with the truth. You are only concerned with supporting people who you dick ride and hating on people who in the past have exposed you for 15-year-olds. I just don't like, to me, like King Yella might be kind of a dummy, but like, how could you be this dumb? How could you seriously use a platform called YouTube that was invented in this period of time in order to make no sense and think that people are subscribing to you to see you make no sense? Now, if you go to King Yella's comments, it is like, they get it. Okay. Like very few people are watching these videos that don't get it.
Oh, they're anti what he was saying in the video. I gotta go. Look
they just like they see through it. They understand that this goofy is and he's obviously not being honest. Yeah.
I get his side. Of course, like he's gonna take off for Larry Hoover. Like nigga, he a big GD, so I get him doing it. But I feel like you kind of, you got to just do fair journalism. He called me a goofy for even mentioning it.
Right, even that. It's like, does he think that Remo is anti-GD? I got news for you. No. And like, it just doesn't make any sense. But, that's what Yella's all about. All right, I got to go pick my kid up from school. But I appreciate everybody watching this. I just donated 10 gifted subs to Destiny's stream.
Oh, word.
Wow.
So don't ever act like we don't also give back. In this case, I was giving back to somebody who has a completely different fan base. But just saying that.
Shout out to the Destiny
If you guys want to give some subs, it's fun.
Yeah.
I love Destiny.